So my name is Arkadiusz, or in short, Arek. I'm C# developer from Poland. I'm big fan of Orchard Core project for a long time. In past, I made a few small PRs. This time, I decided to create like one full module for Orchard. And so today we'll do like presentation of that. As you can see on screen, so it's under infrastructure group. So yes, we'll enable this. And it's appear in the admin menu. We have this section here under the configuration called URL rewriting. And at the beginning,
before you continue, maybe you should just explain what it is, what the module is for, so people are aware of what it is and what it's supposed to do, and then they can see a demo.
Okay, so there is an opened issue in repository, like someone is basically asking for rewrite module for Orchard Core. This is basically an use case where we would like to redirect some of the URLs to different one. It's quite common when you moving like content to different URLs, basically. And you would like to create some rules that basically redirect the old URLs to a new one. And there's a long discussion on that. There's even one suggestion to like external module here. But the external module actually presented here it creates redirects for particular content. So basically you have like some content item and you can attach redirection for this particular content item. So it's not like a global redirect rules that you can set up. And what this like PR module is mitigating, it's like global set of rules, what to do with incoming URLs, like how to transform them to like, and there's like two main options that you can rewrite them. So change them so they will be internally directed to some other route, or basically you can use standard HTTP mechanism to like HTTP redirect basically with the HTTP status codes. So like I will basically showing one example will be good. So basically we start with like empty list of rules. And there are two main rules, redirect and rewrite. So let's start maybe from rewrite rule. Let's put some name here like rule 1 EMG to media. Let's call it like this. Yes, Sebastian, you are like
someone
asking?
might not be familiar with the difference between rewrite and redirect.
Yes. So basically, when a rewrite rule is executed, it's take incoming user URL, it's changing it to different one, and this change is not visible for user at all. So this is like for only internal server purpose, that we are like changing, modifying the URL, incoming URL, and this is transparent for you from user perspective. You cannot like see any results of that action taking place, but obviously that affects how later this URL is proceed by the pipeline, because this action happens just after the like request entering the processing pipeline. So when you rewrite the URL, you can, for example, as we will see in example, use image instead of media at the beginning of your path, and change it to the media. So basically, all the later modules will see that as a media and not image like path. And this is redirect. On other hand, this is rule that it will affect the user browser, because basically what it says is it means that some status code have to be sent back to the user, so his browser agent will make the request once again, but using different URL that we are providing. So basically, that's the main difference between the rewrite and redirect. I hope it's clear to understand right now.
Yeah, thank you.
And so we will do maybe, yes, rewrite first. And we will do that for such URL pattern. So basically, this will match every request that is starting with IMG and the name of the image, basically, or any other path. And basically, what we will do, we'll say that this URL have to be replaced by such URL. And this is all those funny signs are basically a pattern matching standard characters, and it means, you know, like match anything. And here it means basically that this anything will be pasted back here again. And all of this convention was inspired by, like, let me move that. Basically, with this project, Apache Rewrite. Basically, they I think was one of the first that were introducing such feature, and ASP.NET actually support parsing such rules, and we are heavily using that in that module. Yes, Sebastian.
Do you know why ASP.NET supports the Apache Rewrite syntax?
I think it's for importing basically rules.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
For WordPress?
Do you know what? No, nope. Do you know why historically ASP.NET started supporting?
Oh no,
You might,
no, I don't know that.
And Zoltan, I might have said that before. No.
Look, my only tip would be WordPress, since it also runs under .NET now.
The reason is because Orchard. Because I wrote the URL rewrite module in Orchard 1. It was one of my first contributions when I joined Microsoft because it was an easy one. And I knew about the Apache module because I knew about Apache. I was giving PHP courses, so I knew about the thing. I'm like, that's a great format. Why not use the same format? And then in Orchard 1, we have that support for this format. Then when .NET Core was created, the intern who joined Microsoft, this first task was to work on a rewrite module. And I told him, you need to support that thing because it's super useful, like the Apache module. And he implemented the IIS rules and the Apache ones. And I said, yeah, look, even in Orchard, we use that. That's perfect. So, okay, let's do that. And that's why ASP.NET has that now. Because Mike Hill, who was an intern and also developer in the ASP.NET team, decided to do the same thing. That's why, just funny, but that's why we have this in Orchard 1 also. And that's why it's also in ASP.NET Core by design. Yeah.
Nice, very, very nice story. Actually, I discovered one issue with it. These rules doesn't allow to put absolute replacements, and I've created issue for that in ASP.NET project. But this is like minor issue, basically, that we cannot put absolute URL like redirecting to like other website, basically. And one more thing about this is internally we rely on this. Basically, this module that we are presenting today internally is creating intermediate representation of rule using this this syntax. So basically, ASP can recreate the rule from the string, basically. That was to avoid basically copying all that code that Sebastian was explaining that someone already written in ASP. That's dealing with how those rules are basically executed. So yeah, so that's it. Going back here, yeah. So let's save it. So this rule is in place, and this allows us the example I'm always using for this is to open the image and try to access, and basically it's under the media URL. And basically what I do right now, I'm writing EMG and it should work. Basically, what it means, sorry, one thing, rewrite. Right. So basically, I've used EMG instead of media, and this URL, when it was received by the server, basically, it was matched against that rule, and internally it was changed, altered to basically replace IMG by media string. That's why Orchard Core could proceed it and display that result to me. There is a few options that you can select. Here, there's one like saying if the case, when we match the URL, should the case sensitivity be in place or not? Another one, and here we have still discussion with Mike about it, is basically it's saying if the original query string should be appended to the resulted URL. Basically, because sometimes you would like, when you, for example, would like to add some extra query string in resulted URL, you would like not to append the original query string sent by user, but sometimes you would like to append all the query string that user entered here. So this option, and we are still discussing if this should be actually ignore original query string or it should be like append query string. But basically, this is steering. This flag is steering this logic. Basically, what should happen with original query string. And also for rewrite rule, there is extra option saying stop evaluating as subsequent rules. So basically what it means that after URL will be rewritten, so it will be altered by the rule, it will still, the rule engine will start executing other rules, basically checking if the new URL is basically like matching other rules. So if further rewrites are necessary. And if this is like checked, it means basically this is the last rule for rewrite. Don't do anything else with that request. As we will see later on, this option doesn't exist for redirects, and this is because redirects are always final rule. But because every redirect is immediately responding back to the user agent, so browser agent. Basically, so every redirect is basically always every redirect. The next what we will show is basically the last rule. So this option is not necessary there. Okay, so let's see that example with redirect. Let's call it. We have example with about. Okay, let's do it like this. For example, it can be given this way using pattern matching, or it can be simplified to this. And basically here we have, so as I mentioned before, we had the same set of rules like before, but we don't have this last stop proceeding rules, because every redirect basically is a rule, as we said. And the option we can select here is actually the type of redirect that will be used when responding back to user. So by default is this one. either this one have lower lower HTTP status code, is a bit more dangerous because it means basically that browser, after receiving this response, will cache the response back, and it will later on use that response all the time without going to the server. So that's why it's the best default actually is this one, because browser will all the time ask the server back again what to do with the old URL basically. Obviously, for performance reasons, if we are really sure that the content was moved permanently and we would like to avoid the old request going back again through our rewrite engine, move permanently would be much better choice. But for default, it's much better to use this one. And in this example, yes, we will do such example that basically we are about us, we are redirecting to about, and here basically where we enter this URL, as we can see, it moves us back to about page. And to show how this works with query strings, here we have this option that query string should be appended. So once again, so as you can see, we remove back again with query string. But if we change it to about us and change the rules, so we're not appending the query string, we are going to about page, but without that query string, basically. So this is, yes, this is basically like the basic functionality of that module. And there is one special case I would like to mention, that we have one special rule that is not visible here, but actually is executed before every other rule. And let me, it's this one basically. This rule doesn't allow to change anything related to admin menu. And I thought that this feature is required because if someone will mess up something with the rules, it can basically like break the access to admin menu. If if someone will put the bad rule that somehow redirects or rewrites admin menu URLs. So just in case, this is the rule that is executed before any other rules, that every request going back to the admin panel, is basically, every other is skipped. Basically, we are skipping rules, we are ending that, and we are allowing that request to go normally. So this is for safety reasons. We had discussion if that should be optional or not, but I don't really see the argument. I don't see like any use case that someone would like to change it actually. So at this stage, basically, this rule is used, and it's outside of the visibility here. Basically, we don't see here in menu. And yes, that's I think that's the main story here. Maybe Mike will add something more to this, because actually initially this module started as very easy one, like in terms of UI, but later on Mike pushed me to create some UI for that, and later on he created even bigger UI change for this. So maybe he will tells us something more about that.
There's really not much more I can add here. The only thing is that the UI is extensible. So if you need to add any more rules, you can simply implement the interface, which is documented. And then the minute you implement the interface, then you'll have another rule. That's why we went with this UI. When you click add rule, now you'll see that dialog that gives you sources of rules that you can select from, so you can actually add. This UI is very similar to the queries UI.
Shapes.
Yeah, so
steps,
shapes,
items, workflows, everything is using the same pattern. Shapes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's easier to explain because we don't have to use anything else.
And that's great, but maybe it's too generic, redirect and rewrite. I would have called them like redirect, like, I don't know, regex redirect or regex rewrite, because I think there are other kinds of rules that are not based on regex, right? Like just, it could just be that, I don't know, or are all the rules in the middleware based on a regex?
Sorry, I mean the Apache mod rewrite that we are using. Basically, it's using regex.
Only.
So
Okay.
yes. So that's basically. At very end, we are actually generating this like such string, and we are passing by to that code that creates code from this. So yes, it supports regex from very beginning.
Okay.
One issue I mean I had is that, yes, I know there's this policy that in we don't display the tabular views, but like for me it's, I don't know why, it would be more intuitive actually to see in, you know, like in main menu, like the table of basically patterns and like substitutions for those patterns. But yes, it doesn't play as with this policy, I guess, that menus shouldn't be like that in admin panel. So that's one like disagreement I had with Mike. Basically, how this menu should look like. Basically, I thought more on the tabular one for this.
When you say tabular, you mean the table?
Yes, a table. Basically, a table with rule name, basically the pattern for that, the pattern for that rule, and the substitution URL for this. And I don't know, like for me, it's like much more giving me all the information I need, basically, like giving one look at the menu.
I will give my suggestion. Well, my thoughts about it, because I think I did the module in Orchard 1, and I think I remember how it works. At first, when I saw the PR without looking at the code, I thought, and I think we mentioned that thing recently also, I thought that a simple implementation would just be to have a text editor and you write the Apache rules inside the editor, right? And that will work for lots of people. We can link to a documentation and it will just work. I think that's what we have in Orchard 1. But it's not user-friendly enough, so it's fine to have a UI like this to show, and I like it also. Both are fine to me. Ideally, if we could just switch between one and the other, that would be the best, but I believe it's stored in a database format like in JSON document, so we can't just edit the rewrite rules text and then get the table, so it's not back and forth. We have to choose between what edition mode we want. It's a different module.
Yes, exactly.
So I think the table is fine, but what I saw in the table is that it's ordered. So why do we have to type the order value in the editor? Why not just have an orderable list and we can just drag and drop and put at the first, put at the last, and we don't have to enter a number in the editor? We have examples.
So you could do that, but the problem is if you have a lot of rules, like multi-pages, sorting will be
that's okay.
Not ideal.
That's not
so that's
perfect,
why
you will never have multiple pages of, well, multi-pages. Let's write a single page.
This is actually, yes, this is also like discussion we had with Mike about that, because I also like this, as you said, your argument of that, you know, I would like to have simple order basically, and like don't show it for user, just allowed to, you know, drag and drop the order. So yes, I would prefer such solution actually, because otherwise, if someone would like to edit the order, like for example, if there will be a lot of like a lot of rules, and someone will have to manually change the number. Yeah, there'll be conflicts, and someone will have to manually go through other numbers and change them, basically.
I get the both arguments, because we've been there so many times, right? We've been doing Orchard for 15 years, if not, yeah. And we've had this issue a lot. Like taxonomy, like how do you order taxonomies? We have to reorder based on the parents, the child. We have moved up, moved down the terms. I mean, the taxonomy tree that we have. Same thing for the list part, right? We can just reorder. And for taxonomy, we have a specific algorithm to do that. We just, when we reorder, the order is actually a float. So we just divide by 2 and we store the float. So there is never a conflict. Here, I agree, Mike, that yes, if we have hundreds of rewrites, what the issue we have here is that we need to show everything in a single page if we want to put something at the top, right? I think we could even keep paging and just say, have the pager be able to change the number of items we display. So if we want to move something to the first page, we can move it to the first page, or maybe have a button to say, move to the top. And when you click to the button, it goes to the top and we go back to the first page. So we don't have to drag and drop to go to the top. Or maybe just display everything in one page and hope that nobody will have hundreds of rules, or just have a limit. I don't know. I don't want to say people won't have hundreds of rules.
Or just leave it as is. And if someone really wants to mess with those numbers, they can go and change it.
Oh, but today I see the issue. I see the issue today already, because I have to type a number, which is an issue.
You don't actually click add rule, please. All right.
It will add to the end.
Click add rule. Yeah, just click one. You see how the number is pre-calculated for you, so you don't have to type in anything, because we're
type one. Yeah.
So currently the solution works and it's flexible. But yes, if you need to mess with the order, you need to find out which order. And if you collide, like having 2 numbers, it doesn't matter. We still order, we sort by created date. Yeah.
Priority.
So the way how it's sorted by order and then created at, so it's always consistent.
Yeah, showing this order here, it's weird. So if it's the order, then don't show it. Oh, but you need to display it, because if you want to move before, you need to put a value. Yeah, so that's super odd, right? But yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so one of the other features I would like to see here is that it's missing right now, maybe for this version, is basically like simulation button, where someone would be able to put your URL, like click the button and basically list the rules that are like hitting this.
The editor. Yes, in the editor, when you type a regex, you really want to see what matches the regex.
Exactly. Yes. So we skip.
In the editor, yeah. Or a simulator. I see. Like you could simulate. Well, ideally, you would also be able to type a URL in a text box and say, show me all the rules that apply and what's the actual redirect or rewrite. See, with all the subsequent rules and everything. That would be perfect. That's super hard. Well, that's not trivial. That's not hard, but that's not trivial.
Yes, that's why we didn't even mention that. But yes, it would be super helpful to actually be able to simulate this and don't test it on production, but actually test it here. Don't test it in like site, but test it here.
If it's not in the editor, if it's not in the editor, you have to save it, and that can be dangerous. So that's why you want it to be in the editor. Something you can do before is just link to a website that will test regex, like Regex Storm or whatever. There are lots of websites, so you can just have a link under the text box that says, if you want to test your regex, click on this link, go on this website, and then people will use the external website. That's the first thing you can do before implementing
And yes, something like that. Because right now the solution is that when we add the rule, it's safe, it's immediately reloading the pipeline basically.
Yeah.
So every rule and addition of the rule basically reloads the pipeline. So it's taking it's immediately taking basically action. And ideally, it will be good to first of all test it, and maybe also, as you said, to cache them somehow before actually applying them. Yes, it's open discussion actually how to do that.
Well, that works today. So even without, so just a link first to let people play with that, so you don't block your PR on those things.
Yes.
I'm also wondering about the query string append only or not. I would just, because I know in IIS rules there is a placeholder to say inject the query string. So if at least maybe it's, so there are two things. There is copy the query string, and there is also maybe append to the query string, and there is also replace part of the query string. Let's say that you want a rule that will just update the page 100 to page 1. I don't know, but without losing everything. So that it would be nice to be able to do that. I don't know how it's done in Apache Rewrite today. So that I would go with what Apache Rewrite can do in this case, or we do by default and just follow the pattern.
All right. Yeah. So yes, as you said, there's an append, there's a drop, and I'm not sure about replacement, but probably yes. There's also if I scroll down the flags, I think here.
If you just want to replace a value or to, you see query string append, QS discount, yes append. So these things, maybe that's interesting to see what you can do with that.
Yeah, so basically right now when the append is, yes, we are using this and this if it's not selected. This one is selected and the one if not selected. We still have discussion now on this.
Okay.
Basically, yes, that requires some more talking.
But
I guess
that's great that we record the meeting, because give some people time to watch the meeting, because if they have some requirement, they have to go on the issue and provide feedback.
Exactly. Please provide feedback under PR here.
And also, I like people to provide some scenarios to see if their scenario would be answered. For instance, can we define a rule that will convert HTTP to HTTPS? Can we provide a rule that will change a domain to the other one? Can we provide a rule that will change a trading slash to a permanent redirect without the trading slash? All these kind of things that I assume people will have to do for any new website. So that would be interesting to know that we can do that and probably document how it's done with this model.
It's good, Sebastian, that you mentioned that story from ISP. That explains why there's not so many moves here. That was intern code, basically. So yes, my issue was that this as you mentioned, this rewrite rule doesn't support full URLs basically.
And the reason might be that. The reason might be that they didn't want that to be supported on purpose for security reasons, or maybe it's a bug. That would be nice to know first. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has touched this code since Michael, who worked on that like 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yes. As I checked, yes, this code is old, right?
Well, if you find a bug, you can submit a PR and they will fix it, but not before .NET 10. That's the issue. So we have to deal with that. So that's a problem. Or maybe create another type of rewrite rule that won't be stored in this thing, but will do its own magic with a middleware.
Yes, that's possibility. That yes, to take that code and modify it a bit, or submit PR and wait until they will merge that. But as I checked, I think Apache, as I remember, Apache supports this. I mean,
Okay.
the full URL. Yes, like here, for example. Yes,
Mhm.
I think it support that.
Okay, great. Well, we have to stop the meeting now. We are way over time. Thank you,
Thank you.
Arcadius.
Thank you.
Nice to
for
meet you.
that.